In FIFA 22, Mason Mount had a rating of 83 and a potential of 89. Fast forward 2 years later and now he's a 78 rated with only 81 potential. So let's save Mason Mount's career. And to do so, I feel Mount has to leave Manchester United. The question is, where? And to answer that, we are going to go to the wheel. What league is it going to be? We have got the top 5 and the MLS and Saudi, but it's looking like he's staying in the Premier League. But what team is he going to go to? We've got the whole 20 here. It's looking like he's going to end up back at Chelsea. No, he's going to Brighton. I like that. And so season 1 starts off with Mason Mount signing for Brighton, and I really like that signing. And of course, to help him out, we need to give him some training. It's going to be very crucial to getting him up in rating. But starting off Mason Mount's career, his first game of the Premier League is up against Everton, and I mean, it was a very tough game for them. Mason Mount could not seem to find his part in this game at all, getting a yellow card as his first action here, and just throughout the whole game he looked completely lost. And he even had a very good chance here as he was through. The defender completely missed it, but Mount completely skied it. And João Pedro also had a penalty up against Pickford, where Pickford did manage to get a hand on it, and he did make a tremendous save. And the game did end at 0-0. And Mason Mount ended his first game on a 5.4 rating out of 10. Second game of the season though, and Mason Mount did manage to keep his place in the starting 11, this time up against his former club, Manchester United. And Mason Mount starting to perform in these games, as he did have a nice little cross, which unfortunately was not an assist. Mason Mount also delivered a nice ball through to Mitoma, but he could not get onto the end of it. And in the 85th minute, where the game was looking lost, Danny Welbeck did somehow find Mason Mount over the top, who did manage to tuck it away to score the winner against his former club. And he did run off celebrating, because why would he? He has no loyalties to Manchester United. And what a goal it was to grab the victory for Brighton. And Mason Mount did manage to finish the game on an 8.5 out of 10, which should hopefully secure his place in the starting 11, as he does also pick up a Man of the Match award. 4 games into the season and Brighton currently sat in 5th place with 2 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. It's not a bad start for them at all. And Mason Mount grabbing 2 goals in those 4 games in the Premier League, which is a great start for him so far. Hopefully he gets some more assists, but it's a brilliant start for him. Halfway through the season now, and Brighton have took a massive knock. Currently sat in 15th place and only winning 1 more game since those 4 games that we saw a second ago. So overall, it's been a terrible first half of the season for Brighton. However, in some good news, we do face Crystal Palace in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. And Mason Mount, after 25 games, has 6 goals and 2 assists, which is not a bad little start for him, and also improving on his rating, now up to an 81 overall.
Whoa, hold up. You haven't liked the video yet. You also haven't subscribed. So please, make sure you do that, or I will get Hasbullah on the case.
Next up, of course, we have Crystal Palace in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Hopefully we could get a nice little result. But we did start off with Eze scoring straight away, which is of course not a very good start at all. Thankfully though, we did get a penalty, which João Pedro did manage to tuck, which is something we really needed. And we did get really lucky, as we did get another penalty, and João Pedro makes it 2 to give us a nice 2-1 win against Crystal Palace. But of course we have the reverse fixture. This time we are at home, and hopefully we can add on to that 2-1 aggregate. Not too much happened in this game though. They did have a nice strike, which was a good save from the keeper, and we did have a slight chance with Mason Mount, but it did go miles wide. And Crystal Palace kept piling on the pressure, but they did keep getting denied by the keeper. And we did end the game 0-0, of course winning 2-1 on aggregate to get us into the final of the Carabao Cup. And of course you could not write it, we do face Mason Mount's former team in the final. O'Reilly into Mitoma. Mitoma strikes at the goal, and oh my word, that was a strike and a half. March down this wing inside to Mason Mount, gets a bit of space, goes for goal, but it is blocked. Nice, Mason Mount trying to get past defenders, strikes at goal, and he finds the back of the net to make it 1-0 for Brighton. Mason Mount scoring against Manchester United yet again, this time in the final of the Carabao Cup. United could be through. That is a great tackle though, but Sane through to Zirkzee, back to Bruno Fernandes. This is a bit horrible, bit of play from United, just cannot get to him. That's a nice pass, and Bruno Fernandes tucks it away to equalise 1-1. both of our teams attacking mid, scoring here. Nice. Back to Mason Mount. Mason Mount gets a bit of space. What a strike. I'm surprised that did not go in. That's unlucky. Oh, Garnacho with that pace there is just unstoppable. Lewis Dunk is on his way. Can he do anything? No, he can. He blocks it off nicely. Nothing can separate us at the end of the second half. And it is into extra time. Nice. Good little chance here. Goes for goal. It's a great save from Onana. United on the attack. Back post to Garnacho. That's a great ball, but it's a great save from the keeper. Come on. One last attack of the game. We could potentially grab the winner. That's a nice ball inside, but that's an awful attempt at goal. Manchester United could have the last attempt. Can they make anything use of it? That is a great save, and that is going to go into penalties. That is not really what we wanted. Mason Mount is first to step up. Can he tuck it away? He can. What a penalty. These penalties has gone on so long. It's back to Mason Mount, and Mason Mount tucks it away yet again. I mean, it's 11-10 on penalties. This is just a joke at this point. Bruno Fernandes steps up. He's gone straight down the middle, and the keeper saves it. And that is it. Game over. We have won the Carabao Cup final with a great save from the keeper. And here we go. Trophy number 1 in Mason Mount's rebuild. And we are starting off with the Carabao Cup. End of the season, and Brighton have finished in 14th place, which is of course not very good at all. It's just bang average. We did get knocked out of the FA Cup in round 3 to Newcastle, losing 4-2. Although we did top the season off winning the Carabao Cup with Brighton, which isn't too bad at all, to be fair. And Mason Mount having a pretty good season. He's now up to an 84 overall and getting 15 goals with 9 assists in 48 games is not a bad season back at all. We could renew our contract with Brighton, however winning the Carabao Cup is not going to be enough for Mason Mount, especially finishing 14th. So we are going to look to move. And we do have a very nice offer here from Aston Villa. And I'm not going to lie, he could suit Aston Villa to a T. And we have gone for it. We've bitten the bullet, and Season 2 starts off with Mason Mount moving to Aston Villa. And starting our season with Villa, we are coming on as a sub. We need to try and press Emery and get into the starting 11. And Mason Mount did do exactly that, coming on as a sub and starting off by creating a very nice chance for Watkins, which we are unfortunate not to get an assist. And Mason Mount was just linking up the midfield to the attack, very strong in this game. And we did eventually get a goal here through Ollie Watkins, who got very lucky, but he did manage to tuck it away to make it 1-0 for Aston Villa. And we did end up winning our first game 1-0 against Bournemouth. And after 4 games, Aston Villa with a very impressive start currently sat top of the league, winning 4 games out of 4. Although not the best start for Mason Mount, as he only has picked up 1 goal in the Premier League so far. Halfway through the season now though, and Aston Villa have took a little bit of a knock, but overall still a very impressive season for them, as they are sat in 5th place. Also a very strong start for Villa in the Europa League, as they are sat in 4th place, and also into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup yet again, this time up against Bournemouth. And Mason Mount now up to an 85 overall, improved a little bit in the league, 4 goals, 4 assists, still not the best, but it's still not the worst at all. Into the semi-finals up against Bournemouth, we do start off extremely strong, beating them 4-1, and of course the reverse fixture, I'm not gonna lie, it should be an easy game. This team is ridiculous, by the way, and we end up beating them 6-2 on aggregate. Carabao Cup final, and we face Manchester United yet again. Guerrero up this wing, dancing about into Jadon Sancho, goes for goal. It's a good save. Sancho into Leroy Sané, finds a bit of space, good block. It's a scramble in the box. It's still a scramble, just get rid of it please. Thank you. Don't think we've really had a chance this game, as United are through yet again. Joshua Zirkzee, what a goal that is, to make it 1-0 to Manchester United, and fair play to him. Nice overhead kick. Bailey inside to Mason Mount, trying to create something here. Back to Leon Bailey. Oh, it's a nice little tackle though for the defender. And there we go, the last whistle of the game, and we do lose 1-0 to Manchester United. That is very disappointing. We are also into the semi-finals of the FA Cup up against Sheffield Wednesday, and we did start off very strong through Ollie Watkins, who managed to tuck it away on a solo run to make it 1-0 to Aston Villa in just the 14th minute. Ollie Watkins also gets a chance from the penalty spot, which he does convert to make it 2-0. Mason Mount also had a great little run here, which he did pass into Ollie Watkins, but it was a dreadful shot. But the game did end up 2-0, and we are into the final of the FA Cup. And we do face Newcastle in the FA Cup final. A chance for another trophy for Mason Mount. Hopefully we can win it this time and not have a repeat of the Carabao Cup. Mason Mount through here. That's a nice little chance he's created for himself into Watkins, and he's missed it. How the hell has he missed that? Up this wing here with Embremo. Somehow getting past us into Isaac. Back to Willock. Into Gordon, and he makes it 1-0 for Newcastle. Joe Willock down this side into Isaac. Makes it 2-0 in just the 28th minute. This is not a very good start for Villa at all. Leon Bailey back to Matty Cash, inside to Ollie Watkins. Very good chance, and he does tuck it to make it 2-1 as he goes and grabs that ball. Zubamendi into Mason Mount. Mason Mount getting through very nicely. What a run that is for Mount. He just can't tuck it away. McGinn has got loads of space and he's going to utilise it. He's ran into it. It's McGinn still, and he tucks it away to make it 2-2. And there we go, the game is back level. Mason Mount here, last chance of the game, never mind. He's blowing his whistle, and that's the end of the second half. Nice, inside to Mason Mount, lays it off to Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins tucks it away to make it 3-2, and what a goal that could be. It could be the winner of the FA Cup. Newcastle down this wing into Harvey Barnes. Whips it inside to their striker, and their striker heads it in and makes it 3-3, equalising in the 111th minute. And that's it. It's going to penalties yet again for Villa. Digne is first up against Pope, and he tucks it away nicely. Joseph up next, the equaliser, and he does score to make it 1-1. Bubakar Kamara up next, up against Pope, and Pope gets a hand to it. That is not good, as Anthony Gordon steps up and slots it home. Mason Mount up next. This is the one that counts the most for the series, and he does tuck it away in a nice penalty there. As Almiron steps up, he could make it 3-2 on penalties, and he does. The keeper just can't get to it. Ollie Watkins, the main man in this game, does tuck it away. Of course he does. And Bentancur steps up and he slots it home. And it comes down to the last two penalties, as Jacob Ramsey does step up. He has to score here, and he does. Although we are going to have to save this next one here up against Newcastle, as Harvey Barnes steps up. Can Martinez gets to it? He cannot, as we lose another cup final on penalties. Although in some good news, the end of the Premier League season, and Villa have managed to finish in second place, only 3 points behind leaders City, which of course means we get Champions League football next season. Although the Europa League did not go well, we got knocked out in the round of 16 to Ajax. Of course, losing the Carabao Cup 1-0 to Man United, and another disappointing final loss as we did lose to Newcastle United. Mason Mount though with a very, very impressive season. Of course, now up to an 88 overall, 17 goals and 17 assists in 60 games, which is an unbelievable season for Mason Mount. We have got a very tasty offer here from Bayern Munich. However, I am in two minds. Do we do a Harry Kane and run off to an easy league in the Bundesliga with Bayern, or do we stick around for a challenge at Aston Villa? I don't know which to do. It's a toss-up of two coins, and I'm getting more tempted with a prospect of turning Aston Villa into a super team, and that is what we are going to do. We are going to stick with Aston Villa and try and win those trophies we did miss out on this season. So starting season 3, and we are sticking around at Aston Villa. And halfway through the season, and our decision so far is paying off very, very well, as Aston Villa currently lead the way on 42 points. Although we did get knocked out of the Carabao Cup to West Brom, we are also performing extremely well in the Champions League, as we are also sitting in first place. And Mason Mount is the star player of this team, as he is up to a 90 overall now. 11 goals and 10 assists in 31 games. What a season it's been so far for Mason Mount. Closing in towards the end of the season, 10 games left, and Aston Villa are still holding strong although it is only 1 point between us and Chelsea in second place. Champions League action though, as we do face Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals, and unfortunately we do lose the first leg 1-0. Second leg though, this time they do come to Villa Park and we do beat them 3-2 on penalties. Also into the semi-finals of the FA Cup up against Crystal Palace again. They do however get the better of us, beating us 2-1. Semi-finals of the Champions League now though, and we do face Liverpool, and it is a huge game for Mason Mount. He's been in this position before though, and he can do it again. And Mason Mount starts the game off very strong with a lovely ball through to Dobbin, and Dobbin makes it 1-0, and it's assist for Mason Mount to start the game. Although Liverpool do get a penalty with McAllister, but Emi Martinez is there to save it. And Harvey Elliott also got a penalty. This time though, he does convert it to equalise at 1-1. That was the end of the first leg, and I mean, we'll take that result at Anfield, 1-1. And they take a trip to Villa Park, and hopefully we can get the better of them. And we do start off extremely strong through Diogo Jota, as he does tuck it away to make it 1-0 for Aston Villa. However, Liverpool answer straight back through Correa, who scores an outstanding goal, of course, to equalise 1-1. Although we do get lucky and get a penalty through Mason Mount, who does tuck it away to make it 2-1. And hopefully that is the goal to get us through to the final of the Champions League. And it was. The game ended 2-1. Back to Premier League action, 2 games left, and Aston Villa are in a perfect position to win the Premier League. We just need to win our next game and the trophy is ours. And of course it is up against Manchester United, and it was only 1 goal that separated the two teams, as Diogo Jota did score in the 57th minute to win the Premier League for Aston Villa. And it is only Mason Mount's second trophy of the video, however it is the biggest one yet, and it is the Premier League trophy. Although we could win another trophy here, as we are into the Champions League final. And what a result this will be if we can pick up the win. Winning the Premier League and the Champions League with Aston Villa would be ridiculous. Inter on the attack here. It's a great little start. Højlund though, nice save from the keeper. Nice. Mason Mount picks it up, edge of the box. What a goal that would have been, but it's not meant to be. Højlund inside to Martinez. It's a great save, and that is an awful attempt at a shot there from Martinez. It has been all Inter so far, as they do attack yet again with Højlund. Højlund trying to make a little bit of space, trying to dance, but thankfully we can defend it well. Up this wing, Mason Mount. Can he try and get this inside? Oh, he had a free man in the middle, but we went for a shot. Mason Mount dinks it over to Diogo Jota. Can we score our first goal? And we can. Eventually, we beat Alisson to make it 1-0 here for Aston Villa. And what an assist from Mount. Nice ball over the top to Mason Mount. Can he just get to it? He can't, but he does. He gets it back. And Mason Mount makes it 2-0. And what a goal that was. A nice little scramble from Mount to make it 2-0. Mason Mount again through this middle, trying to find a bit of space. He passes the man quite easily, and Mason Mount makes it 3-0, and surely that is game over. What a performance from Mason Mount in the Champions League final. And there we go, game over, and the Champions League has been won by Aston Villa. What a performance. And that makes Mason Mount's 3rd trophy of the video, and it is a huge one in the Champions League. And there we go, there is confirmation of the Premier League being won by Villa, and of course the confirmation of the Champions League. And Mason Mount, after 64 games, getting 40 goal contributions, 23 goals and 17 assists at a 91 overall. Also getting top goal scorer and top assister in the Champions League. I would say Mason Mount's career has well and truly been saved.